nail friends, it's been a while. I've been busy. I just got a job, but I'm going to show you guys, or join me and watch me doing my acrylics on my non-dominant hand. And I'm going to start by cleaning off the nail plate. Now I already prepped my nails by buffing off the shine and kind of giving them a little bit of a filing on the free edge. And so yeah, it took me about just over 2 hours, probably like 2 hours and a half to do it. This video is gonna be sped up, so it's probably gonna seem like it's less than that. But oh, here I'm putting the protein bond. This is from Young Nails, like I said. I find this it's like a primer, but it's not a primer. It doesn't have acid. It's not an acid primer. But this primer is really good. I find that it really helps the acrylics stay on for like the whole time, mainly unless you bang your finger. And I do a double coat just like they recommend. But what I was saying is, when I'm still kind of a beginner. Well, I'm not a beginner, but yeah, I'm still a beginner. I just always was hard on myself with the timing on how long it took me to do acrylics. And yeah, it used to take me 4 hours to do my right hand, which is my non-dominant hand. This time it takes me about 2.5 hours, and that's with gel polish and some nail art. So I'm definitely improving in time. But if you're doing this for the first time or you're starting out, be kind to yourself, be patient, because it can take 5 to 4 or 6 hours to do one hand when you're doing it on your own. Now, I used to do, one hand one day and then the next hand the other day, and it would be a total of 8 hours. But, and then I'm kind of going slow, but yeah. So enjoy the video. I hope this video just helps any new beginners. Be kind to yourselves, especially with the time. Just keep practicing. It does get better. I, at the beginning, was practicing a lot on myself and on my fake silicone hands. And I also just focused on using forms, even though I practice sometimes with tips. But whatever you like the most or whatever you want to specialize in, just try to always at least do one practice run per day of anything. If it's gel polish application, regular polish application, doing acrylics on forms, doing acrylics on tips, removing gel polish, removing acrylics, reshaping, nail art, anything you can do every day or every other day, but just consistently doing it, it will improve your game. I am here to say that. I am also here to say that I'm starting the year great. I got a job at a nail salon where the focus is nail art. So it's just going to be great. It's going to be a great year, and I hope to be more consistent in posting my videos more regularly. I still have the other Coupa videos that I want to upload, and I have an ombre video that I did, and I just have some other videos. It just sometimes takes time to do a little bit of edits here and there. And oh, sorry, I got an interruption. And yeah, I promise I will be posting more and making them better. Now that I have a schedule, it's just going to be easier to try to stay on schedule. So yeah, I'll be quiet now, but I'll just let you guys just kind of watch. This is pretty much my whole process, except it doesn't include me prepping my nail, which is like another 5 minutes, and the total times for curing, the full 30 seconds. I think it's 30 seconds with these nail polishes, or a minute. So, I edit there too. So enjoy. If you have any questions, comments, tips, and advice for me and for anybody else watching the videos, please put them in the comments. I always welcome any new tips, any shortcuts, anything that that works for you, that you want to share, that could work for the rest of us. I just feel like YouTube is a great place for a community of nail techs where we can encourage each other, support each other, and help each other grow and learn together. So I hope you enjoy this video. Let me know if there's anything in particular that you would like to see, or post your comments. And of course, be respectful, but of course, I don't need to say that because you're all great. Okay, enjoy. And remember to always be cleaning that brush as you go. And don't use the tip of the brush to push product in because it'll get stuck in the bristles. But you know, I apply it there and then I wipe off. So you just want to get into the habit so your brushes always stays clean as you go. Here I'm trying to shape the nail into an almond, and as you guys can see, it looks very awkward and weird and messy, but that's just because, you know, I'm using my opposite hand. So just trust the process, just go with it. We're always gonna file this product down to get it as close as perfection as we can. You know, considering that this is not our dominant hand. So just keep that in mind, that we will have the opportunity to file it and shape it. Here I'm just bringing it down so the product self-levels. If you just let gravity help you, the product tends to self-level when you get the proper amount of liquid to powder ratio. But again, it could be a little bit tricky in these circumstances, but you get what I'm saying. Even if it looks bulky, or the most important thing is to get enough product there that even after shaving off to reshape, you know, the thinnest part will be thick enough for the end product, if that makes sense. So just, it could be bulky, just don't make them too thin or too thick, of course, but you know what I mean. Oh, I forgot to mention, I am using a number 14 brush that I had just purchased. I wanted to try a number 14 brush because I normally use 10s and 12s, even 8s. And I've seen other nail techs on YouTube using very big brushes to really get product on faster. So I think I've graduated into a bigger brush. And I gotta say, it did make it a lot easier, I feel, like this number 14 versus even the number 12, because I just felt like I was able to grab on more product. So I actually do recommend, if you haven't tried a big brush, try it. And the opposite too, if you only try big brushes, try a little brush, you know, just to kind of get familiar with each brush and how they work. But I totally recommend this 14 brush. I bought it on Amazon. I think it's called CADs, and so far it's been doing a good job. Here I'm struggling with the forms. I do recommend that you add that little round tab on the bottom of the form with the sticky side down so the whole nail sticks. And I recommend the that you add that circular thing because it adds more stability to the form to stay in its own shape. I got these forms on Amazon. They're one of like the cheaper ones that they have, the more inexpensive ones that they have in this color and the shape. And they just work great. They work great. I mean, for beginners, if you don't want to spend too much money or you don't, have the resources, you could use these products on Amazon and they work just fine. I am using Young Nails. You could get a good price on Young Nails when they go on sale. They are on the pricier end, but they're really good quality. But I would recommend you getting the beginner kits for acrylic or gel if you're interested, because they have a pretty good deal on those, or just wait when they do their big sales and you could get a lot of great products for a great price. But yeah, so I'm using the Cover Pink from Young Nails, and here I am moving, I feel like a little faster, more in control than the thumb. The thumb is just so big and wide, that's why. But here I'm going ahead and shaping the nail into almond. It's okay as long as it's not touching the skin. And just fill in the sides and the corners. Let gravity help you. Clean that brush constantly, and practice. Just practice, practice. The first time you do this with your opposite hand, it is going to be rough. Okay, you are aware now. You're aware now, but don't let that stop you. Make it a challenge to conquer, to do your own ass nails. And it's so satisfying because you can do whatever you want on your nails. You can add on all you want on your nails. It's a really fun way to express yourself. So I put my protein bond or primer already on all my nails. So when you're applying the other nail forms, just don't do like I do, and be careful of not touching the top of the nail, the nail bed with the forms, because you don't want to contaminate the nail bed because that could affect adhesion. So I put the primer already on all 5 nails because I noticed that if I go one at a time, I'll tend to forget 1 or 2 nails. And then if I don't add the protein ball bond, those nails do tend to lift. So I just rather play it safe and put in all the nails before the forms. Sorry guys, I need to work on the camera angle. The camera's a little too low when I do my own hands. Now I'm realizing that. Oh, here it goes. So there's several ways to do this. You could start at the free edge, 3-ball method, and then go up to the cuticle, or you could do like the 1-ball method, which is a big acrylic ball, and then start from the cuticle and let it just glide down and self-level with the help of gravity by putting your finger down. So on this finger, I kind of did the 1-ball method, but it's really not the 1-ball method for me yet, because I end up having to add a little bit more acrylic here and there. But basically what I'm saying is the first initial ball of acrylic for this nail, I placed it on the nail bed as close to the cuticle, and then just let it, self-level down. And I'm still working on that same bead right now, on the same ball. And sometimes if I grab the right amount of product, I don't need to add more, but usually I do still need to add some product on the sides, or that one's dry. Add products to the side, or to fill in any gaps. But eventually with time, I think people, get good with the 1-ball method and are able to shape nails with 1 ball, which would be awesome. But yeah. The middle finger, for some reason, is always the easiest one for me to do. I don't know, it just aligns perfectly with everything. So that's just my lucky finger. What can I say? It's okay if you use many beads or balls to get the right thickness on the nail. It doesn't matter, you know, just use as many beads as you need. You know, the smaller ones, it might take longer, but they're easier to control. And just make sure that you have the right thickness of the nail. You know, at the base of the cuticle, you kind of want it thin there, and then coming up to like the height of the apex of the nail slightly, and then thinning back out at the tip. And the thickness of the nail shouldn't be thicker than the thickness of a credit card. So that's your guide. So the nails should not be flat. There should be a little curve on the arch. And so just keep an eye on that as you're shaping and molding. Just think about it like, yeah, you're shaping and you're not brushing the product on. You know, you're shaping and molding and pushing the acrylic around with the belly of the brush, not with the tip, you know, and you're molding it. So just, you know, use your intuition and your vision to mold the nails into shape, and just practice. And if it's not perfect, no worries. You could always shape. And if it's not perfect, then no worries. You just practice the next day some more. It's fun, right? We love doing nails. You guys notice that I'm pushing the product around with the belly, bottom part of the brush, and I'm not brushing it. The only time I'm like brushing is when I'm wiping the brush on the piece of paper. But you do not want to wipe off unless you're trying to take off product. An exception to that rule too about brushing with the on the acrylic is if you're going backwards on the brush towards the finger, like there, to try to blend the product, you could like do a slightly brush up to help the product get blended, but not too hard. Here I want to use gravity to get the product to go down and self-level. So you want to point the finger down, and if you're doing it on a client, you would do the same thing. But this just helps you don't get the product to level down. So you don't want it too watery and you don't want it too dry, or else it won't go down. But that's why you also just need to practice, because with practice you'll just start to intuitively know how much product to grab, and you'll just start, without thinking, it'll just be a habit to know how to grab a small bead and a big bead. Practice, practice, practice. It's important to clean your brushes after every service. So here I'm just adding some monomer. I didn't realize how dry my little thing was, and I'm just doing a last final cleanup just to make sure all the acrylic is out. Don't let the brush stay with any acrylic, or it will be really hard to take off later, or it will ruin your brush. Here now I'm going to just start filing with the Tammy Taylor 180 file, or 150, which is my favorite file. It is the best file out there. It's about $1, just like any other good quality file. That's what it's going to cost. Yes, they're disposable. But oh my gosh, this file is perfection. Okay, I'd highly recommend it. You can buy them on Amazon actually. They're like 10 for like 10, I think. So I am going to just file right now. They're dry. These acrylics are dry. So I'm just gonna file, you know, side to side, just kind of start giving that shape and getting rid of any funky buildup on the edge, and then just kind of going over the cuticle area, just kind of doing an initial, you know, little shape. And then I'm gonna go over actually my e-file, and that's when I'm really gonna get rid of the bulk and really do the main shaping. You could do it all by hand, but it is so tiring that I recommend if you have the e-file, do it with the e-file. But if you're good at acrylic application, then you don't need to file that much because you'll just do it from the beginning. But this application today was bumpy. It's not even, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do some filing. What am I doing? Oh, I changed files. I wonder why. Because I really like the other one. Maybe it was too thick, but this is the Young Nails 150 file, and it's also great for shaping, but I really, really like the Tammy Taylor one. I like this one too, but that one, the other one's a little better. So I'm just gonna start giving it that almond shape, and then when you get to the e-file, you just have to make sure you use a bit that can go forward and reverse. So the e-files have a forward motion and a reverse motion, and some bits will say right-handed or left-handed only. So that means they'll either go forward only or they go reverse only. So you could get a bit that goes both ways, forward and reverse, or a reverse one to do on your non-dominant hand. In this case, because I'm doing my right hand, I'm going to go reverse on the e-file, and I'm using a bit that I bought on Amazon. Almost everything I bought here today is on Amazon, but it's a bit that I like to use to remove bulk, and it goes forward and reverse. And I'm using it because I do have some Young Nails bits, but they only go forward, so I can't use it on my right hand. So I'm going to use this bit from Amazon to go reverse. And I'm just going to be really careful because this bit is very sharp. Even though it's a medium grit bit and it's designed to remove bulk of acrylics, I tend to notice that if I go too close to my cuticles and touch it, it does hurt. Like, they do cut. So here I'm just, again, I went back to my Tammy Taylor file because it's just, there's something about the grit on this file. It's just so fine. And it's just delicious to hear it, you know, filing over the acrylic, and it just feels great. And it's just a great file. So here I'm just doing, like I said, the initial filing over and shaping before I head into e-filing the bulk off and shaping the nail. With the coarse bit, you want to go fast. So I think I'm going between I'm probably going like 8,000 RPMs on the e-file. If you go too slow, it just catches on the acrylic and it doesn't work right. So when you're doing bulk removal with a coarser bit, you definitely want to go faster, but nothing over 12,000. I would even say you don't even need to go over 10,000. I don't think so. Be careful not to dig into the nail with the e-file with the bit. You're not trying to go into the angle. If you notice, I rest the bit almost parallel to the nail surface, and that's kind of how you want to do it. You don't want to go in a sharp angle and dig into the nail because you could accidentally remove more acrylic or cut the client or cut yourself. So you don't want to do that. It's very uncomfortable. Here I'm just doing the final pass with the file, just fixing any minor details, and this is pretty much the last step of filing before we start doing gel polish. Here I'm just using a 240 buffer file just to get rid of any of those, like pieces of acrylic or little particles that sometimes are on the surface of the nail. Okay, so I just brushed off all the dust from my nail, and now I'm just using plain isopropyl alcohol to wipe off my nails and clean them. So you want to use alcohol. You could also use acetone, but I really don't like pure acetone because it melts acrylics. You could use like a cleanser, but just plain or alcohol is fine. Just wipe off each of the nails to make sure there's no particles or granules that's going to ruin your nail polish. And then we should be ready to move on to polishing. When you're new at using gel polish, it's just easier to control if you do one nail at a time because gel polish doesn't dry, you know, without the light. So if you're new and you're trying to do all your 5 nails at once and then put it in the light, by the time you put it in the light, you could tell the gel has moved around if you're not very familiar with the gel. So just the safest thing to do is just do 1 nail at a time. And here I'm curing every 30 seconds. It's a 30-second cure because it's a LED light. So just follow the instructions of the gel polish that you're using because it does vary depending on brand.